What is happening, everybody, man? Thank you guys tuning in another episode of Expert Mentors Live. And I'm excited, man. We've got an OG back in the house with us. Been on the show a few times, and it's always great to have James in and get kind of caught up and kind of what's happening in the world of agent attraction. More specifically, I know you're all over the planet, but rooted in Atlanta and definitely representing the ATL crew at a high level. And I appreciate you carving out the time, man, jumping back in. I know you have a massive organization that you spend your time leading. And so being able to jump in here and give back to the Honey Badger Nation and give back to the community for kind of what you're seeing, what's working with all things agent attraction. So welcome.
Man, I appreciate being on here, dude. Like I said, it's been a minute, man. I'm happy to get back in here and share. Y'all been a blessing to me. I love the Honey Badgers, baby. Honey Badgers for life.
Oh, so good. Just looking back, I had kicking the year off. Have always kind of tradition now. Always have go start the year off. Her and I always jump in and talk all things. Typically, in the past have been all things social media and really more state of business kind of conversation. But just reflecting back over the last 6 years of doing that the first of the year conversation with her, seeing the evolution. Had Tina call on last week and 2 weeks ago, and just her evolution. Right. Her and Kevin and just all kind of the OGs, especially to the Honey Badger Nation and to the Expert Mentors conversation. So being able to jump in and, no different than, no different with you, right? Looking back, when you guys came in first time on Expert Mentors, really where you guys were at, what was working, at the time. This was pre-pandemic and we were focused on events and you guys were consistent. You were rocking events. And, dividing and conquering at a high level. Obviously had to pivot in 20, but, just still navigating the waters. And, you're, at the top of the top in the agent attraction side of things and the rev share side of things at EXP. And, just your consistency and being able to lead and continue to evolve at a high level is really cool. So I would love to kind of catch up on the shifts that you're starting to see. A lot of agents kind of exiting a little bit, navigating, making moves. We're starting to see a big uptick and a lot of agents coming over. Jay and I were talking about it yesterday that you've got, I think, maybe when you look at, kind of early adopters to, people that come over to the laggards, the people that come over at the end. Yep. I think you're starting to see some of that. I think you're starting to see some of the legacy brands that just have not able to add a lot of value. You're starting to see a lot of agents that had signed, 12, 18, 24, 36-month agreements to stay where they were at, starting to expire. So it's just really interesting to kind of see the dynamics in what's happening inside of the real estate industry. But I would love for you to just give some insight, kind of what you're seeing, what you're experiencing, and kind of from an agent attraction standpoint, where the opportunity is.
Man, I honestly think, at this particular point, everybody's up for grabs, just to be honest with you. It's different now. I always think about like Warren Buffett. He always talked about like, when things are good, you bring a cup. When things are bad, you get a bucket. So, with, the people that have, left, but, and so for the people that are still in there, they're just more open than they've ever been before. Definitely having better conversations, talking to way more people and, really, getting them to the table. What's cool about it, I think, in of itself is that not only that we've changed, but EXP has changed as well. They start doing some things different. They're trying to help agents even more. Me and Levi, we end up talking a lot, and we were saying like, man, in the early years when we was trying to bring people on board, man, it was like the Wild West. I mean, you was out there, shooting guns and riding horses and just trying to get things going. But it's like now it's like everything's like more structured. I mean, you got the roads laid out and paved. The company itself is like helping more agents. So like it's never been before where all you had to do is just reach out to somebody and then get them in touch with a growth person and let that person actually explain everything to you. So I mean, it's definitely, I think, better just because the gate is more open, because when people are doing the production that they once were doing, they're not hitting the numbers that they once was hitting. They start searching a little bit more. So I just think the opportunity is huge right now.
So let's kind of walk people through this process and kind of share what you're seeing, kind of best practice as you go through. And because it's really about just, I mean, what is your process? And really looking at great organizations and great companies have what they're looking to streamline is kind of one proven, highly that converts at a high level, a high probability of success, and success being an agent coming over to EXP and planning routes and producing as well as recruiting, right? So it's not just getting them to sign. You got to take it a little bit further down the path, I think, to really define success. So I would kind of love to see how your process has evolved. And then from there, how is EXP helping a little bit more through the process? So let's maybe start at the beginning and be like, listen, here's what I'm doing to create curiosity, be able to get people to engage from a marketing side of things, content side of things. What are you seeing that's working the best to be able to get people to want to engage and have a conversation?
Man, one of the things that I started noticing, I really just started thinking about this thing, right? So I was thinking, what is the main reason why most people are here at the company right now? And what really hit me, it was like, it's a freaking video. Like most people are here because they watched the video,
okay.
right? So it's like, if you understand that aspect of it, and you understand that if you know what I'm saying, that you don't have to turn around and do like what I call heavy lifting. So heavy lifting is like explaining EXP. Heavy lifting is convincing somebody that this is the right opportunity for them. I'm gonna even say heavy lifting is the events, even though I've done events, right? If I understand that those three things are the heavy lifting items, those things are already covered, because there's videos explaining EXP. And I'm not talking about the little quick one, because I never thought the quick one worked very well. That might be like a refresher, but I don't think that should be the first one, because it doesn't hit the emotion string, right? Mm-hmm. So like you can explain EXP, but if you can't get into the emotion string of it and really meet somebody where they are, it ain't gonna matter. But the video explains EXP. Third party.
How do you get somebody to want to watch the video?
Man, you really just got to pique the interest, right? So if I was talking to you, the main things that I'm gonna try to figure out is what are your goals and what are you trying to accomplish before I get into anything else. Once I know your goals, then I'm gonna actually pique your interest with those goals, and replacing the word EXP with and instead of saying EXP, I'm gonna actually say the model. Because the model is not the same thing as EXP. I never talk about EXP, but I always would talk about the model. So if I'm talking about the model, I'm using the model to actually get you to actually jump on a call with me to watch the video. And then from the video, I'm gonna actually leverage the three-way call where they'll talk to somebody that either above or below. It just depends on whoever is the best fit, and let that person actually do the whole process. And then the follow-up aspect of it is going to be getting them talking to somebody else or getting them to an event in of itself.
Gotcha. So let's go back and let's try to pull a little more detail out of some of this, because I love everything you're saying here. I just want to, just help people connect the actual how-to.
Yep.
So I get it. Being able to have the conversation. The conversation is around who you're talking to. What are their goals? What are their desires? What's keeping them up at night? What's that rock in their shoe?
Yep.
What's stopping them from being able to get to X? Where they're at to where they want to go on their own. How do you get to those conversations? Like, what are the best avenues to be able to listen? I need to have X number of conversation each month. Where do I go to have those conversations, or how do I get those conversations that you see that's working the best?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna tell you this. Like the biggest thing that most agents they talk about, like especially when they're trying to do say agent attraction, they say, "Well, I don't, I ran out of my list. I don't have anybody else to call or something like that." And I always tell them like, man, you got a huge list, especially if you sell houses. If you're a producer and you sell houses, then you have the other person on the other side of that transaction. And the conversation is usually pretty simple. So if I was giving them a call, I'll ask them like, hey, what I like to do is I like to share deals, referrals, and information with agents within my sphere. And I try to work within that. And I really think very highly of you, especially within the transaction that we actually did. So if you don't mind, can I get some more information about you, information about your business? Like how long have you been selling real estate? So it's very conversational, right? So they started talking a little bit more. And then what I'll do is I'll get into a little bit more detail. Like, okay, so do you work with buyers or do you work with sellers? Oh, I work with buyers or I work with sellers. It doesn't matter whichever one it is. And like, okay, well, what are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? I'm looking to do this. I'm looking to do that. Okay. What do you think is stopping you from hitting that goal? So I'm getting more information. I'm like a detective, just trying to get more information with them. And then I'll say like, okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about myself. And then, I'll actually talk about people that are either above me or on my same level based upon what it is that they actually say that they want to accomplish. And I'm gonna utilize that, and I'll just say like I've partnered with some really good agents. We've been able to do this, we've been able to do that, and what we did is we found this new real estate model where we can help other people hit the success that they want to have without charging them any money whatsoever, without getting any of their commission whatsoever, but also helping them to create an exit strategy with outside of real estate. Now, John, I understand that everything is not for everybody. This has worked tremendously for me. If I were to show you what this model looks like, because that's something you think you'd be interested in checking out. Well, that's an offer. So I'm literally making an offer the same way I was making offers for buyers and sellers. And now I'm making offers to agents. And 99% of people are going to say yes to that particular offer. And once they say yes, then I'm just going to set them up to a Zoom meeting where I'm actually watch the actual video explaining EXP with them.
Gotcha. So you're not sending it to them and just hoping they watch it on their own. You're actually setting an appointment to watch it with them.
So my thought process was this: if I had a $700,000 seller, I'm not going to send them my presentation. I'm going to actually go to that presentation. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to meet with that person. So if I'm looking at somebody that is that I really want to bring into the organization and really have some really good success, and I know that's a big deal, then I want to treat that person the same way I would treat a seller and actually sit down with them, show them what the opportunity is. That way I know that without a shadow of a doubt, they're at least seen it. The biggest thing is that most people, they just have not seen it. They haven't seen the opportunity in of itself. So my success in agent attractions is going to be tied into how many people I get to watch the video, how many three-way calls that I actually get on, and how many invites that I sent to an event. So I think what most people end up doing is they start making, looking at it as pass or fail based upon people actually joining. And I think that's a mistake. Like you shouldn't make it based upon if somebody join or not. Because if you're doing that, you're going to have times where, nobody's going to join, and then you're going to start to feel bad. And then, you turn around and you stop doing the work. Like your pass or fail should be based upon moving people through a section of the pipeline. So if I know that I have people moving from initial contact to watching a video, and if I know I have people moving from video to three-way call, and from three-way call over to events, I don't have to worry about if they're going to end up joining or not, because I'm pushing them through the pipeline. So, but if I don't have those people pushing through the pipeline, I know I'm not going to have people to join. I think a lot of people, what they end up doing is they want that first conversation for that person to join the company, but that's too big of a river to cross. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get them into the little rocks in between. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get you a little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer. Now I got you right at the edge on the other side of the river. It ain't a jump or a leap no more. It's a step.
It's a step. Yeah. You're helping put the steps in front of them. I love that. And I love, focusing on the key metrics that you can really put within your control, especially if you are trying to set the appointment and being able to sit and watch the video with them and then really invite to a 3-way call, and how many of those were executed. So I really love the, kind of the metrics to pay attention to, not focusing on did they sign the agreement. Obviously you want to, be able to measure that, but that's not what's going to drive the people that are signing, the ICA to be able to want to join with you. So James, are you, I know you're at a point in like you talked about with Levi early on, we had to create a lot of content, right? Or rely on somebody in our upline to create a lot of content, a lot of how-to. But you had mentioned, EXP has done a lot to try to make it so much easier for us and for the agents, and a lot of things that they've done, even helping agents when they do come over to be able to, with the whole fast track program, to be able to get up and get running. So there's a lot more with EXP to be able to leverage, instead of thinking that you've got to do all of the work. Are you utilizing, EXP content, the model explained EXP style, or is it something that you've recreated or borrowing from Gove or Kinder, or who, like what videos, what materials are you using?
Man, all the above and some. Let's be honest. we use it all, right? So the video I like the most, as far as when I'm doing an EXP explain, is Brent Gold. And it's really just because he's going to pull on those heartstrings. I don't think anybody else can get as emotional as Brent does. So
right.
That's usually the one that I sent. Now, if I got somebody that's not necessarily, somebody that, they're more like analytic, something like that, I might send the one with Jay and Al, because they're going to get into a little bit more slide decks and things of that nature. So I'm kind of strategic on that part of it. But for the most part, for most people, it's an emotional thing. So I'm going to send the one that Brent Gold sends over. But it's all about the offer, man, at the end of the day, right? So if you're what I would do and what I do is anything that's benefit to that other person. I literally was just talking to somebody right before here. I had one of the agents in my group. She was talking about, wanting to get higher price points within our area, and her biggest thing was the spirit that she had wasn't actually bringing her the type of people that she wanted to work with. And we had an offer conversation, and we talked about what that offer was and what everything looks like. Everything is an offer issue. So it's the same thing with agent attraction. Like everything that EXP has, everything that that Honey Badger has, everything that you might have within your group, make it a spreadsheet or an offer category. So like for me, I have an offer category of this is all the stuff that you get when you partner with me. And that was, I don't say EXP, I say partner with me. I just remove EXP from it. Now, this might be an EXP thing, like Fast Track might be an EXP thing, but I'm not talking about EXP. I'm talking about partnering with me, because the reality of it is, if I wasn't an EXP, I would be somewhere else. They're looking at me. They're not looking at EXP. Now, the model is being explained, but they're still partnering with you. So I'm laying it on a silver platter. This is what we're going to do for you. This is what we're going to do for you. This is what you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? So they know that this is all the benefits of partnering with James.
I love that. So really just stacking the value stack, right? Let's get into, offer equation, right? So I think this is important for everybody to understand. You're looking to make the offer irresistible into a point that they would feel stupid to say no, right? That's Hormozi 101. If you guys are struggling with how to get Hormozi's $100 million offers, he breaks down the whole offer format, how to structure, how to really put it together. But what is the value stack? And you really look at from an offer standpoint, it has to help them overcome whatever desire they have. And for most people, they have a desire to overcome pain. And that's why I always say, craft your offer to be a painkiller instead of an offer to be a vitamin. And with agents that we're talking to specifically, we all know how important vitamins are. Yep. But if you ain't got no damn money, you ain't buying no vitamins.
There you go.
However, if you ain't got no money, you'll do whatever you can to remove the pain. That's why you're better off being a painkiller and offer to kill their pain. That's the desire that they have. And you've got to have kind of a bridge to be able to get there. So this is everything that you're talking about. We want to use everything to be able to be in there, to give them a path, like you were talking about, to lay, the stones across the river to where they don't have to make a leap. They can just take a step. And they have to believe what you're offering is going to collapse time, and it's going to be with less effort and less sacrifice on their end. That's a compelling offer. And you just stack the value to where they would be like, dude, I'm an idiot if I say no to this. And I think part of that value equation to be able to constantly keep working on that. So James, I get it. You got all of these resources. Where do you go? What is your go-to to go gather these resources? Obviously we know Brent Gove, honeybadgernation.com. You have all of your own stuff. Where at in EXP? Do you just go into enterprise? Do you go into my EXP Realty? Like, where are you going to gather all of these valuable resources?
Yeah, man, good question. So what I end up doing, because before we used to just send this stuff out and just letting everybody know. So I created a Facebook group called Agent Builders. And shout out to all the agent builders out there. So
yes.
So within the Facebook group, we just post everything there. So any training that Honey Badger has, we're going to actually put that in the Facebook group. Any training that Gove has, we're going to put that in the Facebook group. Any additional things that we have going outside that, we put in the Facebook group. That way it's in one place. So everybody have access to it. They know where it is. So we do a role play clinic. Levi actually hosts a role play clinic every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on how to sell more houses. That's in the Facebook group. I host a mastermind. I mean, you're going to be doing the one coming up here with us, So
that's a little bit of a tradition too. We got to get back.
Yeah, that is a tradition.
Yeah.
We got to get John Kitchens in the beginning of the year, man. Get us set up right. So, but we'll post that in the Facebook group. It's just having somewhere that not only that all communication can go through, but also, I mean, it's a community as well. So our Facebook group is a community. People share deals, they share information. We do wins in the Facebook group. We do a list, of top producers. Every month, we lay out all the people that had closing for the month. We lay out who's in the top spot. And we also do it for agent attraction as well. So we have the top 5 agent attractors for the month. We put that in the Facebook group. So it's just very transparent. Whenever somebody joins the organization, we put their face in the Facebook group. We put their name in the Facebook group. So it's just really just pushing information. You just got to have a method to push information. Now we still send text messages and emails and things of that nature, but for the most part, we put it there and push that out to everybody else.
Gotcha. So you just kind of hoard it, right? As you come across it, you just grab it and dump it. And so now you have a central location that's also shared, so that, people that are wanting to be a part of it, attracting agents as well, they have the tools and resources available. I really love that, right? Because, okay, well, get it and put it in this folder. Well, if it's hidden, out of sight, out of mind, you're going to forget about it. But if you're dumping it into a central location that everybody can gather and share, I really love that. And I really love what
you too, John. You don't have those multiple conversations saying the same thing over and over again to person, because that was the other thing about it. Because I'll come and somebody has a problem, and then another person had the same type of problem. So if you know that that's going on, you got to put a solution for it. So now it's instead of me having to go over the same stuff over and over again, hey, it's in the Facebook group, and this is where it is in the Facebook group. Go to the Facebook group, and you'll get that information.
Yeah, I love that. Being able to be there and see how resourceful they are, right? Can they follow instructions? Can they go get it? How hungry are they? Right. You're giving them the direction and what to do, but it's the whole adage, right? You know, the teacher can open the door, but the student has to walk through, and you're providing the resources and for them to know where to go. And you're teaching that's the biggest thing, right? We talk about this, you know, with the kids, talk about it with, you know, you never want to, you want to teach them to be resourceful. You don't want them to be dependent upon you, right? That's becomes too big of a burden. You get anchored down. You're not able to do anything. You got people around you that can't think, that can't act, but you want to teach them to be resourceful. Hey, I've gathered all the information. The best of the best is over here. Go over here and grab it. It's in there. See who's going to take action on it is the biggest thing. So no, I love that. So kind of moving through the process, we're collecting and gathering. We have all the stuff that's going into a central location. We're talking to people. Let's go to the second component that you're paying attention to. And this was the biggest component that we saw early on. And it was the three-way call.
Hmm.
Kind of explain for everybody what a three-way call is, why it's important. But this was the one metric that we would always measure, and we would see you, we would see Hillsman, we would see Levi. Really, y'all's crew executed on the process better than anybody I've ever seen. And three-way calls was one of the key metrics, right? That we would just pay attention to. Like we were going to say, out of these three, maybe you could go to invites, right? Invite to a three-way call, invite to an event, invite to something. But the three-way call was really the key metric of who was going to be growing the fastest is who was having the most three-way calls. Explain kind of what a three-way call is, how you go about it, how you invite people to it, how do you set it up, and how, you know, really powerful it is.
Man, it's honestly the I feel it's the most powerful thing that you don't have to do very much for, right? So if you're somebody that don't like to convince, right? And all you got to do is set somebody else up on three-way call and let them do the heavy lifting for it. And really, it's a book. Brian Carruthers, Build an Empire. I mean, he's, if anybody hasn't read that book, I mean, you definitely should read that one. The other one is Go Pro. That's another one that you can read as well. But it talks about the if I would you, right? So I really just really kind of dialed in on that whole process. If I would you, if I would do this, would you do that? And it's all about make benefit rich. So I'm always thinking about like, what does that person wants? And whatever that person wants, I'm going to set them up with somebody and on a three-way call that can deliver on that particular promise or whatever that thing or that rock that they have in their shoe. And it's pretty much simple, man. Like we've done this all our life. We just didn't know it, right? You know what I'm saying? We've all, had girlfriends, boyfriends or whatever, right? And we got our way, in certain situations based upon if I would do, if I would do this, would you do that, right? I mean, that's pretty much how it works.
Bartering. We got a little trade-off going here.
Yeah, a little trade-off, like everybody's done that, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, for all situations, relationships, even like, as friendship relationships. I mean, it's the same thing. If I would do, it's the same thing. We just never probably articulated and never looked at it that way. But that's exactly what it was. So, so if I'm talking to somebody and, let's say their whole thing was, I don't know, production, right? So, they want to go to, they want to go from 15 homes to selling 50 homes or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if I'm talking to you, I'm saying that, hey, John, I got somebody, his name is Jay Kender, and he's an expert in selling homes. In fact, he sold like 530 homes in 1 year. And not only have he done that, but he's been able to help me to actually scale my business and take my business to the next level. He's helped so many people within the industry. And, if I was to be able to set it up where you was able to have a conversation with him, do a strategy call, pick his brain, and get some of that information, help you in your business, no obligation whatsoever, would that be something you'd be interested in?
Yeah.
So that is normally a yes, right?
If I would you aligning to their biggest obstacle, they're not committed to fix it, and it's not that big of an issue if they say no. Right?
Yep.
So if they have a pain and you're giving them a possible life jacket, life preserver to help them, solve that pain, they're going to say yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would do that, but then I'm always testing and I'm trying to see what's working. So if I start getting some pushback, then I know my offer is not good enough.
Mm.
So then I'll go stacking that offer, and I'll start saying some other little additional stuff based upon what it is that I feel like they want. That's going to attract them even more. Then I'll stack it even more, and I'll keep stacking that offer until I get until I get 99% of the people that I say this to is going to say yes. This is another good key point as well. So what I start noticing whenever I'm start making the offers, whatever pushback that I get from somebody, the pushback came because they thought about it first. Now I might have an objection to overcome it, right? And that objection may work sometimes, most of the time, or whatever. But if I can handle that objection before they even verbalize it,
Yeah.
if I can answer that question they have in their head before they even ask the question, then that was something that was a winner at every single time, because now it was already answered for them.
Yeah.
But if they verbalize that question, even though I might have an objection handling situation for it, it was always kind of a little rockier in that situation. So if I heard something over and over again, I'm just going to answer that question right away.
Yeah. Yeah, especially, I mean, how that parallels into selling homes. Look at, whatever objection in part of your presentation should hit that, right? So, like, if you're going to be in a competitive situation and typically going head to head with somebody that drops their commission to buy the listing, then you want to hit on certain points of why, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you guys are smart. This is why you wouldn't want to lower the commission, is because of X, Y, and Z. Being able to articulate that to them, so they're going to feel not smart if they ask you about lowering the commission, because you've already talked about it and addressed it. I really love that. One thing, part of the value, the value stack and part of your offer, as you kind of listen based upon what the market wants. I think that's a big thing too, is that you don't create an offer and then go create the audience and the demand. You look at the audience and the demand in the issues, and then you craft your offer around that. And the simplest of forms, and most of you know this, but we just have to remember, the only thing people buy are results. And they have a pain and they just want a result. They want the pain to go away. And if you just have this solution to help them remove their pain, they're likely to move forward. I think one of the things, like what you talked about with objections, I think that's great. Add in bonuses to your offer. And typically, rule of thumb is your bonuses overcome any objections that you ever get. So if they would give you an objection of, yeah, it's going to be a pain to move over and to onboard. Hey, well, part of our concierge package of moving over is that we have somebody personally to white glove the onboarding, concierge for you. So we'll have you covered for that. What else? So you're just able to kind of go through knowing the pain points and being able to craft that. So coming out of the three-way call, let's talk a little bit about nurturing and follow-up, because I think this is where a lot of us fumble. We fumble on follow-up. We fumble on doing events and then following up from an event. What are you seeing to be some of, at scale, and maybe some things that don't scale, automations or staying away from automations, but what are you seeing to be some of the best ways to keep that? Hormozi has another thing that he doesn't say. He goes, I want to challenge you not to think about follow-up. I want to challenge you to think about value add, about creating more value. So you have the three-way call, next step. And I think it's a good little nugget too, right? Always have the next move in mind before you get out of the conversation you're in. But how do you keep seeing the best way to keep adding value, to keep, getting them closer to, the desired outcome, which is sign the ICA?
Yeah. I mean, that's something, I think we all struggle in that, just to be straight.
Big time.
I don't know anybody that just is nailing that area.
Yeah.
I literally was having a conversation with my wife earlier about how we got to do a better job in that category. But usually, what I end up doing is my follow up is going to be inviting to an event or inviting to another 3-way call. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. And what I try to do is I try to leverage the speakers normally in that event, right? So, whatever they accomplish, whatever they've been able to accomplish through other people, how they helped other people, and and I usually put that together, and that's what I'm normally sending out to them. So, and I'm gonna stack it, right? It's the same situation. I'm gonna stack it. I'm gonna put benefit, 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 benefit. If I was to send you this invite, is that something you think you'd be wanting to attend?
Yeah.
You know, if so the mastermind. So when you do our mastermind, it's gonna be like, I'm gonna have a whole Rolodex of stuff that John Kitchen has accomplished and how he's helped other people. And I'm gonna take portions of that and I'm gonna put that in a text message. I'm gonna put that in an email, and I'm gonna send it out to people in my database. Would you want to attend? And then I'm just gonna wait. I'm not just gonna send it out and then just like, all right, just hope people show up. Or if they show up and I don't know who they are, I'm looking for yeses,
Right.
or no's, or I can't make this one. I mean, that's
Right.
pretty much what you're gonna get, right? Or you might get just no responses whatsoever, so you get those as well. But I'm specifically looking for my yeses, because my yeses, I literally have a list of every mastermind that I do, and I'm writing down my yeses. Because those are the folks that when the mastermind happens, I'm actually going to follow back up with them and see how did they like it. What did you learn? What was the biggest rocks? What was the biggest benefits that you got out of it? Hey, do you want to jump on a call so we can talk a little bit more about what we can do in order to help you to grow your business? I don't have EXP conversations no more because they already know it's EXP at that point,
Sure.
right? They've already watched the video. So there's no use in talking about EXP anymore. If I have a conversation with them, it might be an EXP solution, but I'm not using the word EXP at that point.
Right. So you're saying, hey, I got a solution, we got that handled, right?
Yep.
So being able to incorporate a lot of the we language.
Yep. So we take that stuff out of the way. If it's a live event, it's going to be the same situation. It's just going to be something local, live. And if it's a 3-way call, and you've already done one 3-way call, and I'm just setting up based upon what you want to accomplish. Like, hey, I know you spoke to this particular person right here, but you really got to meet John Kitchens. John is a freaking master at determining exactly where you are in your business and helping you to like see a clear place of where you need to go. He's helped me in so many different ways. If I was to get that set up where he was the master, do the same thing with you, is that something you think you'd be interested in? But you got to do it. Say something like that. So you got to have some passion in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
Can't sit back, lay back up.
No, you got to hit them in the heartstrings, right?
You got to hit them there. They got to believe. They got to believe that you have the answer to their problem.
1,000%. That's part of the value equation, right? You got a solution, and then they believe you can help them accomplish it. And that's done in your enthusiasm. That's done in your energy. That's done in your proof. That's why, case studies, testimonials, and, agents listening in, you can borrow others' success, others' authority. That's why you do the 3-way calls, right? Hey, this is what we've been able to help do this, being able to work together to help accomplish this. So I think that's that really is fantastic. So talk to me a little bit, James, about what EXP's doing now that they weren't doing in the past to help, make it easier for those that are looking to, attract, build an organization. How can they use EXP at this point for what the resources they have available?
Man, every state has a, I don't know if we call them directors or whatever, but I'm just going to say a director of growth, right?
Yep.
And that particular person, you can get that person on the phone with your prospect. And, and what I found is like, if you're talking to somebody, they actually don't mind and actually kind of feel privileged to talk to a director. Or I don't know if they call him the director or whatever, but when I'm talking to him, it's the director, right? But like, you're talking to the director of growth
Yeah.
within EXP, right? Because it's one thing, you want to make them feel special, which they are special, right? And I do think that you got to believe it, right? You got to, I know we talk about, enthusiasm and stuff like that, but I mean, you really got to believe that this is the best company that you're at. And you got to believe that that you can help this person. So it can't all just to be about what's in it for you. Like
Yeah.
I truly believe that anybody that I attract or my organization attract, they're going to benefit here better than anywhere else. So so getting them on with the director of growth has been huge in of itself. I've even had an agent, to talk to Leo. I mean, I just told him just straight up, like, hey, how would you like to meet the CEO of the company?
Yeah.
Straight to the top, right? I mean, you don't want to do that for everybody. They got to be selling a certain amount of houses or whatever, or certain level. But we have that access right now where at the time there was no access like that. I mean, it was, like I said, it was the Wild West. It was all about just, what you can actually bring to the table. And a lot of stuff we had to create now has already been created for us. One of the things when I first came into EXP, I know NAE had some stuff, but it was like, hey, how do we get training done? So we had to create our own little training within our group to actually get things going, because I understood that if you don't have training to help agents sell more houses, then even if they came, they were going to leave later. Now it's already set up with, when you got Fast Start that's set up, you got all this other stuff that they're doing, just introducing them to different people and different things. If you got a team right now, so they got people right now that they help onboard teams. Like so many people that I heard horror stories in the beginning, but they were bringing a team on board, including some of my folks or whatever. When we came on board, when it's like the team members was like catching it, trying to get on board. But now they actually have somebody that literally walks each one of the people through, emails going out and text messages going out on a regular basis to get that stuff done. So I mean, to me, it's a whole lot easier. And everybody's, the company's more in lockstep with, I think, the agents that are doing the attracting. I think before it was more so like, hey, you're the person attracting the agent, you do it all. And we did it, the company grew. And now it's more so like, hey, we're gonna be right next to you while you do this.
Yeah, it is. It is really awesome, being able to listen and be able to give back and support. I think it's crucial for the next wave of growth, right? As EXP's been bringing in a lot of people, but in all companies have had a lot of churn to where you got a lot of agents coming in, a lot of agents going out. As we saw one of the toughest years in sales and real estate in a long time. And so there's a lot of agents that didn't sell any homes last year. So I think it's cleaning out, thinning of the herd that was needed. It needed some pruning. And so as you're seeing that, it's just opening the door for the new agents or the agents that are committed and serious about growing their business, and knowing that no matter what you try to do, you need people. You need great people around you. In every endeavor, you're always recruiting, right? You're recruiting talent to your organization. We just happen to be in residential real estate sales, and we're just looking to attract agents to help us, grow our business, grow our organization. And they can be able from a mindset to move away from that.
But it's the natural growth of things, though. Like, I mean, you got to think about it. I mean, you start off as an agent, you just want to start sell some houses. So what you start working with, most likely, you're gonna work with some buyers, and then you start realizing that the buyers you're dealing with is not the time that you're wasting. A lot of times that you have better time just dealing with sellers. So you graduate to the sellers, and then you want more of your time back. So you decide to go build a team, and you realize, like, dang, that wasn't necessarily the smartest thing always, because now you babysitting some agents, and you might get a little bit more free time or whatever, but you have a team. So then you go to the whole situation. But once you get to that team stage, you are attracting agents, you are bringing people on board, and you're helping, you're responsible for people. You're running a business at that particular time. And then, some people, they might say, I want my own brokerage. Or, you want your own brokerage, you're really going to be attracting agents at that particular time. But
Yeah.
then they realize that, hey, I got my own brokerage and I'm bringing these agents on. Now I got all this liability. I got this overhead. I got this responsibility, and I'm not making the money that I thought I was going to be making by doing it. And that's when EXP comes in there. So, you get to have what I call a brokerage inside of a brokerage, without the overhead, without the liability, without the responsibility in of itself necessarily, and obtain the main thing, which is freedom. I think that's what we all, strive for. I mean, I know the first time that we sat in a room together, you kind of laid out this whole freedom aspect of things. Like, hey, what is the main goal? What are you trying to accomplish? Even when we were doing our coaching, like, what are you trying to accomplish? So it's like, it's a freedom goal that you're trying to reach. If you had this right here, would you still do this, whatever? Right. So like, that's the goal. Ultimately, everybody wants to get to a freedom number. And I just can't think of no better place to get to that number without this model.
100%. And, obviously, no matter what, the future of real estate, even if you're not at EXP, you're going to be at some model, some platform that is going to be similar into, what EXP pioneered into this space. I think you're going to see a lot of the legacy brands sunset down. Maybe they'll gobble up, this dinosaur for that dinosaur. It's going to be real hard for them to make a pivot to compete at the value add that EXP is able to provide. And it's always good for competition, right? And Jay and I were talking about this yesterday. Is the only way right now that I feel EXP could stumble would be obviously leadership and some type of hubris into the leadership, framework, into that kind of ecosystem and becoming part of the culture. I don't see that happening. However, that is kind of the first indicator. If you go back and pay attention to, how Jim Collins breaks it down in the how the mighty fall. And we've seen it with other titans in the industry, other pioneers in the industry, to where they've faded off, right? Their business model just doesn't allow them to pivot to be able to stay competitive. But there's still going to be a place there for agents. But I feel a lot of agents are waking up to the fact that there is a better way, and there's a better way to support you as an agent, to be able to really grow a real business. I think that's the other thing. And, it's always cool to kind of reflect back on your backstory, just serial entrepreneur, just straight up hustler, everything you did, even, within being connected with the Braves organization and all the stuff that you've done, throughout your, life before real estate. And it's just really, continuing to, just find the opportunity and stay consistent and look at how many people you can help.
Yeah, man. I was thinking about that thing, man, as far as like all this stuff. Cause I was at a conference, the Create conference here in Atlanta, which is a faith-based entrepreneur conference. And it was, it had John Maxwell, Les Brown, like just juggernauts in of itself. But it talked about it was saying, he said you can connect the dots when looking back, but you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only go by faith. And the things that I've done, I'm connecting the dots because I did this right here. That would led me to this. Because I did that led me to this. And I'm literally seeing a pattern that happened that got me to where, I'm doing what I'm doing right now. And all those other things, had that not happened, I wouldn't be doing the same thing that I'm doing now on the level that I'm doing it on right now. And like going forward, it's like, I always tell my kids, it's like, I am where you are where you are right now because of stuff that you did in the past, and you will be where you're going to be in the future based upon the stuff that you're doing right now. So really be careful and pay attention to what you're doing right now. So so yeah, man. So like all that stuff, it just kind of led right to where we are now, and now we're just making those additional deposits right now to set ourselves up for the future.
Yeah. No, it's so good. It is. It's just, coming in from a place of just I- it's unconditional is what it has to be, right? For true excellence at anything. You said a couple words, obviously, faith. You laid out a process here today, and the process is proven. You gotta trust the process. Um, the Christmas Eve service that we went to, the message was around. You look at the um, who was around Jesus and the disciples and their stories, right? And specifically in John, the word believe is more in John than the other stories combined. Not even close.
Wow.
But it's believe, right? Do you believe? What do you believe? And have the faith to trust the process, that you're surrounding yourself with the people that are going to support you, the company, the organization that is going to support you to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. And it just kind of lined up as you were kind of talking through there, and kind of where you just sometimes you can't see 3 steps in front of you, but you can always see 1 step in front of you.
Yep.
And then it's just take that 1 step and then take the next step and take the next step until you can get a little bit more momentum and you start to even trust the process even more. And it's so key. I mean, you guys are proof. I mean, you've been executing the same process. We can go back to previous expert mentors conversations. We're talking about the same process.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's why it's so good. And for what you've been able to build, and you guys listening in, I mean, um, you know, James is extremely, humble here, but what they've been able to build, I mean, over 1,000 in your organization. I mean, how many have you personally recruited?
Yeah, I mean, I have like 67 on my front line right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's hard. That's difficult.
Yeah.
So like being able to do that just goes back to show having a proven process that you've been consistent with. We're iterating as more value add, as the company's been able to provide more, as other resources are being available. But guys, it's still the same process. I mean, it's engage, have a conversation, find out what their sticking point is, invite them to a solution, be it an event, be it a video, be it a 3-way call, getting them to consume. And I think also understanding this is, I mean, I love your point. Looking back over, the number one indicator is they've watched a video, they consumed content. Hermosi has a rule of thumb: 7 to 8 hours of consumption of your content, of your thing, before anybody makes a buying purchase. So think about that, right? They're seeing your social media. Maybe they see some content, things that you put out. Maybe they've consumed an hour of your stuff. They watch a couple videos, another hour. On a couple 3-way calls, another hour. An event, a couple of hours. Back to another 3-way call. Boom, you're at 6, 7, 8 hours of time and consumption with you. Now they're about ready. And I think that's just a great reminder for us, because we want them to watch a video and sign up. It just doesn't work that way.
No.
And you got to really get down into, because it's an emotional, anytime you move, there's so much emotion into the decision, into what it is. And if they've got a lot of life going on, sometimes it's impossible for them to just narrow in and focus. That's why you just want to keep adding value to them, and you're going to catch them in a moment to where they're at a point to where they're like, okay, all right, it's time to do something about this. And so
Yeah.
I think it's just really important. It's really cool what you guys have been able to accomplish, and I know you're not slowing down.
No, no. I mean, definitely not slowing down at all. I mean, I've been able to. I mean, the webinar. I do have a webinar that still goes out. But I mean, it's the same thing. Just making more offers in the marketplace, and sharing my story in of itself, because people are attracted to you, not necessarily a company, right?
Right.
So they gotta, and based on them being attracted to me, gotta be a way that I can help them. So that's actually working in of itself. But I'm gonna tell you, I mean, it really just goes back to how much value can you provide to the marketplace? What can you do that to help people in the thing that they need to help the most in? And if you can articulate that, everything else becomes easy from there.
So easy. I love it. Brother, I appreciate you so much jumping in here, adding a ton of knowledge, a ton of value as always, really embodying what the whole Expert Mentor series has been about. I mean, 284 episodes in, and, you know, I don't plan on slowing down with it. And so just, you know, really coming in, pouring in, giving just a ton of value back into the Honey Badger Nation. So, man, I thank you a ton for carving out the time and just dropping a ton of value.
Nah, man, we appreciate you, John. You've been doing this for a long time, and probably one of the most consistent people that I know. So,
That's it, man. That's the only way I know how to get anything done. Just stay consistent.
Yep, I love
That's
it, man.
Awesome. Awesome, guys. Thank you, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Reach out to James and give him some love, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. We'll see you.